So we just got off the Park and Ride bus and it's dropped us off right outside York Minster. Right, walking towards Stonegate now. That's Stonegate down there, and the famous Betty's Tea Rooms is across the way there. It's a charming little square. Well, there's lots of nice pavement cafes and good places to eat right outside a branch of the Ivy here. So we're heading up Coney Street. Just heading towards the Shambles now, gang, and this nice little street market going on here. Charming little medieval houses as well. And this is the famous Shambles. It's often said that you could lean out of the windows at the top there and shake hands across the street between the different sides of the buildings. Needless to say, there is nowhere to eat and drink, but we live in hope. The Shambles is one of the quaintest streets in York, nicely illuminated on this lovely sunny day. Right, so we're just heading down this little lane called the Little Shambles, and we're going to try and find somewhere to eat. Somewhere that actually serves food and alcohol, which is actually very difficult to find in the UK. There are plenty of pubs that serve alcohol, there are plenty of cafes that serve coffee and cake, but never the twain shall meet, unfortunately. So just walking down this charming little alley. As always in Britain, you're struggling to find anywhere to eat. So we're re-entering the Shambles here. Exiting the Shambles, we're coming out on this charming sunny square. Some very old buildings of all periods here. It's a very warm day for late August. It's 28th of August today. Very charming, warm, sunny day, about 20 degrees.
I mean, I know we kind of
Just having a look around the market now. This is All Saints Church, gang. We'll have a look in here. It's supposed to be a really nice medieval church. Lovely screen behind the altar here. This little street with the umbrellas reminds me of Carnaby Street in London. It's a nice pavement cafe vibe outside Phoenix in York. On this charming sunny day. There's always a massive queue to get into the Jorvik Centre. So I'm going to head towards the Minster now. There's some nice old pubs in York. I like the pub signs here. There's a three-dimensional golden sheep up there. Lots of double-decker tourist buses plying their trade around the city. Now we've just joined King's Square, still headed towards the Minster, which you can now see quite clearly on the horizon at the end of the street. Great shot of the Minster there. There's always a lot of street entertainers on King's Square. So heading past St Saviour Gate towards the Minster, which I think you can just see at the end of this road. Charmingly named Great Lane. A glimpse of the cathedral rising up behind these charming 18th century houses. Heading up Collier Gate now towards the Minster. So we're now at the junction of Low Petergate, Minster Gate and Stonegate. Stonegate is a very charming street. Let's have a look down here. Yeah, Stonegate is like a much bigger version of the Shambles. Some lovely medieval buildings either side. Lovely row of Tudor buildings here leading up to the Minster. If we look down the little lane called Minster Gate, we can actually see the Minster rising majestically from the end of the streets there. You can see the great rose window of York Minster up there. So we're now in the Cathedral Square, looking at the magnificent west front of the cathedral. Doorways totally magnificent. The exquisite carvings all around the archway, both leaves and carvings of the various saints and apostles from the Bible. I think I can just see Adam and Eve there on the left hand side. Amazing flying buttresses holding up the minster. It's pretty much the biggest Gothic cathedral in the world. I love that honey-coloured Tadcaster stone that York Minster is constructed from. It looks really beautiful there on this lovely sunny day against the blue sky. There's some scaffolding at the end there because the Minster's constantly being restored and cared for by the authorities. And there's that great rose window again. Now, it costs £16 for adults to get into York Minster, although accompanied children are free. So I decided not to go in there again, as I've been in York Minster many times. But you can see from these still pictures how magnificent the Gothic work is inside. It's the biggest medieval cathedral in the world. And it's in England second only in importance to Canterbury Cathedral, so the Archbishop of York is kind of the second in command of the Church of England system. The 15th century choir screen, which has statues of the Kings of England, is a particular highlight, absolutely exquisite. So I would definitely advise paying the £16 to get in, because this and many more treasures are on display in York Minster. Absolutely magnificent building. We can see one of the famous city gates here that once protected the city from invasion. York is one of the few English cities that's kept its city walls and crucially some of its city gates. Most of them got demolished in the 18th and 19th centuries, but York has managed to retain its historic walls, which again are made of that lovely Tadcaster honey-coloured stone. A very warm coloured stone. So this is the other side of Bootham Bar, as it's called. The gates are called bars in York. Just around the corner we have the York City Art Gallery. Now the art gallery is actually closed on a Monday and Tuesday, but looking out from the front door you get this magnificent view of the Minster, the little fountains in front of the art gallery, and the Bootham Bar over there, which is the one of the entrances to the city walls, and indeed to the city itself if you go through the archway underneath. So you have to walk through the tower to get to the next section of the city wall, and there's a flight of steps. This is all very Harry Potter. We're looking down a nice open air bar there. And there's the Minster in the distance. And this is where the city would have been defended. Although actually there's some nice little old houses on the other side of the wall outside the city. Quite a lot of houses have sprung up outside the walls. Nice view of someone's garden here. And then in the distance you can see the next city gate or bar, as they're called. With a nice view of the old rooftops. One of the great things about the city walls is that you can look into people's gardens as you're walking along them, as well as getting a magnificent view of the Minster. So we're getting quite close to the next bar, or city gate, which is just ahead of us now. I love to see the old rooftops and little windows of the houses from the city walls. So it looks like we've got to go back down to street level at this point, down some very steep steps. Thank you.